Hey, one of the things that as a director you need to kind of like have focus on are the is of course the acting, but it's a bit more complicated than just saying okay, act the scene, be more sad, be more mad. You have to approach each scene or rehearsal like if you were a surgeon. The first part is you gotta know how to talk to your actors or actresses because communication is key, of course. Um, you gotta know how to specifically translate the meanings because nothing is just sad, nothing's just happy, nothing's just mad, nothing's just angry. There's always these kind of weird complications, especially in storytelling. Part of the complications is how integrated all the characters are in their relationships. So when one thing happens, it affects multiple things. So if a character is on the sadder side of the spectrum, then that means there's something else being affected because of their relationship to said character. So let's say, for instance, let's take a father and a son. Uh, there's more complications than just being mad or sad at the dad or the son. There's this variables in terms of like they're feeling multiple things at once. They're feeling happy and sad, or maybe discouraged and hopeful. But it's how you kind of mold those together is going to be dependent on how you communicate with your actors or actresses. Um, One scene that we had today, there's a more tense scene that we did during rehearsal, and the thing that we did, and the thing that I like to do, is that we kind of break down the scenes line by line, word by word, in order to try to figure out what exactly is happening with this. Now, many actors and actresses know that that's kind of how you find the soul of a script, find the soul of a scene, of dialogue. But like as a director, it's your job to also know that part of trying to help your actors get to the place that you need them to be is also understanding the work itself and how to translate that. So with us, when it came down to it, in one of the scenes that we rehearsed, it oftentimes kept returning to finding the rhythms and the beats within a scene or a conversation, because while a scene itself is a beat within the greater structure of a film, what you need to realize is that uh, a conversation within a scene or dialogue within a scene also has its own rhythms, its own beats, its own the way that I describe it as action sequences. The way especially in a conversational piece like Silhouette, where there's not like fist fighting, there's going to be many paths that you need to think about when looking at the dialogue and the conversation within two characters speaking to each other. So in this sense, there is kind of like a tense moment between two characters, and what was important was understanding the beats to that. And part of it was trying to figure out how to communicate with my actress. Um, First, we acknowledge what the scene overall means. Then we have to think about whose perspective is it coming from, and then after that, then we have to, as when we try it like just like, try it cold once or twice, then we start understanding how the scene and their bodies are moving, how they're shifting with the emotions of it. And after that, then once we start getting there, then we start breaking down like, okay, what are the potential beats and potential action moments in this conversation? And then we narrow it down even further to keywords. Um, uh, uh, where does the scene change? Where's the key moment? Is it this word? Is it that word? Why? What are the feelings behind those words? What did they feel? How did you feel yourself directing it or watching it being in motion? It's always important to communicate, 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 especially trying to understand what's going on through their head so you can shift and move thoughts and emotions around. But in this case, there were two words in two different parts of the scene that showed two different beat shifts within a conversation. And it was important to know that so that when we started rehearsing fully, it made the conversation more complicated than happy, sad, or angry, or, just a simple word. It gave depth, and it gave a bit more complicated meaning to the scene. And for me, that's the most important part. It's trying to capture the complications in life. Of course, this is just my second feature, so I'm still learning, but and really all directors are always learning, but the whole thing is like, it's important to just to figure out as best you can to find humanity, because that's what I'm trying to do. Some people are looking for the spectacle, and then they have to shift their focus elsewhere. Some people are looking for other things. I'm trying to find like the human nature in these conversations. And in real life, the thing that I keep coming back to is that when we're talking to people, we're always thinking of something else, and we feel something different. And all these things kind of make how we behave with people a little bit more complicated, especially like if you have complicated feelings with your best friend or your parents or your brother or sister or your friend or whatever. The best way that I found to replicate that is to narrowing down the beats in a conversation and then trying to find the shifts in that. And of course, as this whole kind of video is trying to point out, it's important to communicate everything. And that's how you're going to get it done. So we'll see.